Okay, so it's the end of the month and it's time to go over the notable micros on my channel for July 2018. But first I want to start off with one micro that I think that should give everyone a warning about. It's this SkyStars X120. I did a review last month in June. And as you know, if you have been watching the videos, you would know that I had a problem with the camera. The camera that it came with was defective, had some sort of a lens or a sensor problem where jello or vibrations would show up while I was flying it around on high throttle punch outs. So I replaced the camera and that seemed to fix it. But also, as I mentioned in that video, these motors ran pretty hot and no amount of tuning seemed to really help that any. And I think that one of these motors, this back motor here, is no longer working properly because I'm now getting death rolls on punch outs on trying to flips and rolls. And I think it's because this motor is acting kind of funny, but try changing some of the settings, digital idle speed, motor timing, etc. I reflashed the ESCs, etc., etc. This one seems to be stuttering and it causes a death roll. So yeah, if you've been, you know, it's kind of funny is I think every single review I've seen on this has been positive, but this has been a complete dud for me. And so if you have bought this maybe through another review and you saw those positive and you've had some issues with this, let me know in the comments below because I'm curious if I'm the only one that's being cursed with all these problems in this particular model. Maybe I'm just getting like a massive reviewer's curse in this one. This one just, yeah, not a good model for me. And every review I've seen has recommended this, but yeah, I can't recommend it based on my experience on it. But I'm curious what you guys have experienced. If you bought this and had issues, let me know in the comments below. I'm really curious about that. Okay, so kind of a hodgepodge of micros that came through this month, but not a whole lot. Actually, very few, if any, if I can remember. Yeah, I don't think any bind-in flies or ready-to-flies have come out this month because I think there's been sort of a lull in the new models. I know that Gearbest hasn't been sending me hardly anything, and they seem to be really behind on getting new models out. I think there's a couple new models coming, but seems like the dates that those are going to ship keep getting pushed. So there's this one model that I was looking at. It was like a X140. They're going to send me the frame kit for that, so you'll see that next month. But the ready-to-fly model doesn't seem to be available, and it was originally going to ship in the beginning of July, but now it's like middle of August, so I'm not sure what's up with that one. So mostly all that we've seen this month are builds and frames, and I think, you know, as you can see with everything that I've got here, everything here is a 3-inch. So no 2-inch or 2.5-inch I've come across this workbench this month, which is kind of interesting. But I think that what you're going to have here are going to be like some 3 inches that are going to be like more, traditional, what you've seen on the channel, mostly, more like freestyle or racing type frames, something like this, like the Ascent-X. This is actually the Ascent-X 3-inch. It is actually a 3-inch version that I reviewed a while back that is an H-style frame. Pretty good flyer. I'll put a link to the review video on this one in the description. You can obviously build this in a lot of different configurations, of course, but this one seemed to fly pretty good. And I like the Flex-RC frames in general. This frame here is also kind of interesting. This is a real ACC frame. I thought it flew pretty good on these motors, these Tachyon 1408 motors. A lot of power. It's actually a conversion from a ready-to-fly from a while back, the Freebie X140. So if you want to see this video, check this one out too. But this is kind of more like some of the typical stuff you've seen a lot in the past, but now we're seeing a lot more 3-inch builds. Again, same thing here with the iFlight. This is the IX3 Lite. This is a sort of a lighter frame, lighter build, another conversion from a previous build. This one I liked as well. Building this was kind of cramped, as you can see there. Not a lot of room, so you're going to need to be a little thoughtful and planning ahead in terms of what kind of components you want to put in here. But you can go through that video and watch my video and look at those parts list if you want to duplicate this build. This one also I thought flew pretty good. Now before we get to these two here, I wanted to just talk briefly about the Acrobat frame. I haven't had a chance to build this yet because I've been waiting for some parts, and the build video for this will be coming out soon. I pretty much have everything now, and you'll see that well, you want to watch the build video because there's a lot of like I guess notes and build notes and like little things you got to watch out for when you're building this. I got some actual tips and stuff from Tommy, the designer of this frame, that I didn't get when I originally did the frame review. So you're going to want to watch that video on the build for this, so you know what to watch out for and what kind of parts to pick, because it is a little bit, it can be a little bit tricky. You can run into some problems if you just kind of buy a bunch of random stuff. So you want to watch that video when that comes out later. Okay, so I want to talk about these two frames here, the iFlight IH3 and the X-Hover B-Roll. I did videos on both of these. They're both 3-inch drones. You can check out the parts list and all that for both of these, but this is kind of where I'm kind of taking the channel for a lot of these sort of like aerial video type drones. You can see here one has the Runcam Split Mini and the other one has the Caddx Turtles camera. Basically they're 3-inch micros that can record HD video 1080p at 60 frames per second. And these frame designs are kind of interesting because they have these dual 20x20 stack mounting points. So you're going to see a lot more frames like this. You saw the El Camino from Tomo Quads. I believe there's another one coming from Airblade UAV called the Intrepid V2. That's also this type of design. And there's another one coming from Flex-RC. I think it's called Beefcake or something like that. So there's going to be more of these types of frames here where you're going to have 2 stack mounting points, and one's going to be for obviously for your camera, and the other one is going to be for your ESC and flight controller. And what I'm going to be doing is actually trying to take this platform into some long range flying. So right now these just have XM plus receivers, so you can't really do long range with that. And I have some R9 mini receivers that I will eventually be putting this into once I get my X-Lite FreeSky transmitter. A bunch of stuff I still haven't gotten yet before I can actually go and actually convert these over to long range rigs and do things like the GPS rescue, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to be doing those kind of builds coming up in the future with this sort of platform. So if you guys are interested in long range 3-inch micros, they'll fly for 10 minutes and you can take aerial video at a long distance, then you want to stay tuned for those kind of videos because I have more frames coming, more parts, and obviously I gotta get the FreeSky R9 long range receivers and transmitters, that kind of stuff to get this going. I do have the Crossfire and the Tomo Quads right now, but that one isn't really set up for long range because I don't have the proper equipment in there, like video transmitter, GPS, that kind of stuff. I gotta basically move that to something else. So I probably will do something like that earlier in August, but there's gonna be more of the FreeSky long range stuff coming in probably later in August, so you want to be watching out for those videos. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video for July 2018. I'll put links to all the videos that I reviewed for these products you've seen in this video in the description below. You can check out those other videos if you happen to miss them this month. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.